you been? It's me, Wataru. On my video number 8, I explained the basic of ghost note technique. Today, let's study how to use it. I think Cannonball ad-lib is the best at ghost note technique. If you play alto sax, I definitely recommend you to study his way. To talk about tenor players' ghost note, there are two kinds. Firstly, there are some tenor men who use the ghost note to emphasize the top notes of the line. And the second, there are some tenor players who use the ghost note with the bending technique to make the phrases funky. If you want to check out direct influence of Bebop, you may check out Sonny Stitt. And Hank Mobley has solid technique of ghost note too. But for the beginners, maybe his ghost notes are not clear enough. Today, as one of those first group player, I'll focus on John Coltrane's early recording, I Hear a Rhapsody, on the album Lush Life. This tune, I Hear a Rhapsody by John Coltrane, is recorded in the tempo around 208 beats per minute. I think the tempo is set to make it possible to use tonguing on all the eighth notes. Around the time, John Coltrane was already in sheets of sound style, so other tunes recorded in slower tempo ended up with double time phrases. So that it's really good to check this recording to see all those ghost note and articulation on eighth notes. You should find the original recording and listen to it again and again. On this video, I will play his phrases and explain his articulation. So let's start with the pickup right after the head. And you can find some system in John Coltrane's articulation. Firstly, ascending eighth note scales above middle F are often played with tonguing on all the notes. Descending eighth note scales are often played with tonguing only on upbeat. Repetitive pattern of descending arpeggios are played with ghost notes on the bottom to emphasize top notes. Number 3. Fast ascending arpeggios, which are mostly 16th notes, are played with ghost note to emphasize the top notes. Number 4. Succeeding ghost note application of Bebop, he reduced zigzags by multiple chromatic approach notes of Bebop. Number 5. Scoop is not used too often and mostly replaced by grace note fingerings so that his solo is clean and less funky. The root of F major seems to be a ghost note, and it's his own way. The same thing appears on the 5th bar of the first chorus too. Ascending eighth notes from A are played with staccato tonguing. And that is his style too. The last three notes of pickup are also played with tonguing, though it's a descending line. It is probably because it's pickup and he wanted to give it more presence. And the note here is also a ghost note too. So first phrase from the pickup should be like this. The last note of the fourth bar is a ghost note. The note is deviating down from the slant line made of the top notes of arpeggio. Slant line. And as always, the note right after the ghost note is emphasized. Here is a ghost note, so this one is emphasized. By the way, they usually play the fifth bar as G half diminished, but Coltrane liked to play the transition from G minor 7 to C7 with flatted ninth instead. The notes of sixth bar are delayed here. To relax the phrase, and there are two ghost notes simply to emphasize the slant line of the top notes. Ghost note, so that the slant line is very clear. And it would go like this. Now the phrase of second A. Obviously this one is ghost note. Quarter note here is staccato. And ascending line here played with tonguings. And those tonguings are almost staccato to the top. Again, it's his style to use the tonguing to emphasize the emotional arc. In this way, the phrase sounds like played with crescendo, but it's just a sound effect. He does all those tonguings in the same way here, also to emphasize sort of emotion going up. This one is ghost note, also this one. By the way, on the bar supposed to be D7 flat ninth, he played two different major triads that are E flat and D major triads. Notes 1, 2, 3, 5 of E flat are flat ninth, sharp ninth, fourth, and flat 13th of D dominant 7th. And they represent upper structure of the harmony. And the phrase sounds like this. On the bridge, there are three ghost notes that make rhythmic idea clear. This one, this. If you take the ghost notes off, it would sound like this. Yes, without ghost notes, the rhythm is clearer, but with the ghost notes, you can get harmonic structure and rhythm at the same time. The second bar of the bridge, he didn't put the staccato on the ascending line, probably because it's not planned to be an emotional arc yet. Fourth bar of the bridge, supposed to be G7, is replaced with a diminished seventh chord. The second note is a ghost note. And you have a choice to make G into ghost note, but Coltrane chose to have tonguing on this one. So it goes. And the third A section, here's a ghost note. On the second and the third bar, notes are accentuated by tonguing, and the phrase evokes listeners' emotion. Tonguing here, tonguing here. And the same idea again. Triad of E flat major and somehow regular D7 flat ninth. So it goes like this. The most important phrase to study is this sixth bar of the third A section. The ascending phrase made of 1, 2, 3, 5 of C sharp minor is played with the ghost note technique to emphasize the top D sharp. That makes the phrase more dramatic. So he uses ghost note around here. Then, always right after the ghost note, this one is emphasized. Let's speed up with the second chorus of his solo. This one is staccato, ghost note, and a bit of grace note, tonguing, ghost note. Descending line here, tonguing. And in the same way as I have just explained, this one is emphasized by the ghost note here. And the tonguing. By the way, this is an arpeggio of G minor 7. And here, transition by half step down. This is triad of C sharp minor. It's typical C dominant 7 altered. Then another ghost note here. Also ghost note, right? And a chromatic approach note to the fifth of F, this one has a tonguing, and this is emphasized. Tonguing. And you can see another same thing here. Then, also important phrase. This note is emphasized by the ghost note around here. And a bridge to the third A section of the second chorus. Tonguing here. You can see a sort of seeds of sound style of his solo here. These are typical, based on arpeggio down with a little bit rhythmic idea. And a ghost note here, and this. And about the top of the arc, the notes are accentuated with the tonguing. Another ghost note here, clearly. It's good to know what the legend did. Now what we should do is to write down individual etude to practice on. And on some other video, I will explain the primitive example of our practice materials based on the transcription like this, right? Okay, a saxophone can be your friend for life. Enjoy your practice. I will see you soon.